Amelia Bedelia's First Vote by Herman Parrish. Amelia Bedelia loved going to school because every day was an adventure. "Bravo, you are all here," said Miss Edwards one morning. She handed the attendance sheet to Amelia Bedelia. "Please take the attendance for me, Amelia Bedelia." "But why?" asked Amelia Bedelia. "Didn't you just take it?" Miss Edwards smiled. "Take the attendance to the office," she said, "so they will know that no one is sick." "Wait," said Cliff. "I'm very sick. Sick of school." Everyone laughed, except Amelia Bedelia. "Should I mark Cliff as sick?" she asked. "No," said Miss Edwards. "Cliff will be cured soon. We're going to learn all about elections today. We'll even vote, but we won't start without you, so hurry back." Amelia Bedelia raced out of the classroom. "Slow down," said Miss Edwards, "and say hello to Mr. K if you run into him." Amelia Bedelia walked properly until Miss Edwards was out of sight. Then she began to run again. She hoped she would see Mr. K. He was the principal. His real name was hard to say, so he told everyone to call him Mr. K. Amelia Bedelia's sneakers screeched on the floor like the tires of a car. She smiled down at her feet. Kablam! The next thing she saw was stars. "Hi, Mr. K," said Amelia Bedelia. "Are you hurt?" asked Mr. K. "I'm okay," said Amelia Bedelia, but when she tried to stand up, she was as wobbly as a baby lamb. Said Mr. K. "Let me take you to the office." This was Amelia Bedelia's first trip to the principal's office. She really wished she hadn't been running in the hall. Luckily, Mr. K took Amelia Bedelia to the nurse's office instead. "My goodness," said Nurse Sims. "Where did you run into Amelia Bedelia?" "Actually, I ran into him," said Amelia Bedelia. "She's a bit dizzy," said Mr. K. "Will you check her out?" "Why were you running?" asked Nurse Sims. "We're having an election," said Amelia Bedelia. "I see," said Nurse Sims. "What are you running for?" "The office," said Amelia Bedelia. "Of course," said Nurse Sims. "Which office?" "That one," said Amelia Bedelia, pointing towards the school office. "How is she doing?" asked Mr. K a few minutes later. "She is in the pink," said Nurse Sims. "With purple stripes," said Amelia Bedelia. "Wow," said Mr. K. "Those stripes will match that bruise on your knee. Now you can see why we don't allow running in the halls." "I'm sorry," said Amelia Bedelia. "Am I in trouble?" "Well," said Mr. K, "what would you do if you were me?" Amelia Bedelia looked Mr. K over from head to toe. "If I were you, I would wear happier ties," she said. Mr. K smiled. "I meant, what rules would you make?" he said. At that moment, Miss Edwards rushed into the office. "Amelia Bedelia," she said, "there you are. Let's walk back to class together. Everyone is eager to vote." Suddenly, Amelia Bedelia had an idea. "Mr. K," she said, "now I know what I would do if I were you. I would let the kids vote on the rules." "Amelia Bedelia," said Mr. K, "I think you've got something." Amelia Bedelia felt her forehead. "No," she said, "Nurse Sims said I was fine." "You are absolutely fine," said Mr. K, "and so is your idea. Why don't you have your class come up with a few new ideas for running the school? And I promise to do whatever gets the most votes." When the class heard about Mr. K's promise, they cheered and hollered and jumped up and down. Miss Edwards clapped her hands. "Cupcakes," she said. "It is important that your voices be heard, but not by the whole town." "Now," said Miss Edwards, when the room had settled down, "we need a list of ideas to vote on. This will be our ballot. Raise your hand when you think of something." Everyone was quiet, and then... "I'd like more ice cream for dessert," said Joy. "I want sandwiches for lunch," said Pat. "Hey," said Clay, "how about ice cream sandwiches for lunch?" Angel said, "Let's plant berry bushes in the school garden for healthy snacks and..." "Let's grow popcorn," yelled Teddy. "It is rude to interrupt," said Miss Edwards. "Remember to raise your hand if you like the floor." Amelia Bedelia raised both hands. "I'd like the floor and the ceiling," she said. A few kids giggled, but she was serious. "We get too much homework," she said. "I wish we could have one night without it. Then I could have more fun with my mom and dad." "I'd ride my bike," said Skip. "I could play my piano," said Heather. "I know," said Penny. "Let's call it Homework-Free Wednesday." "Hooray!" yelled the whole class. They all liked that idea a lot. At the end of the day, Miss Edwards gave every student a copy of the ballot. "We'll vote tomorrow, chickadees," she said, "so be sure to sleep on it tonight." Ice cream sandwiches for lunch, grow berries in school garden, homework-free Wednesdays, kids read morning announcements, class trip to the circus, bring stuffed animals to school, fish tank in every room, stoplights at hall intersections. The next morning, Miss Edwards took attendance as usual. "Wade is on a trip with his parents, and Dawn is out sick," she said. "That leaves 14 of you to vote." Amelia Bedelia took out her ballot. She wished she hadn't slept so hard on it. Everyone voted. They counted the votes, and then Miss Edwards crossed out the idea that got the fewest votes. They voted and counted again, and again Miss Edwards crossed out the idea with the smallest number of votes. They kept doing this until just 2 ideas were left. "Okay, my chipmunks," said Miss Edwards, "this is your last vote. How many want ice cream sandwiches for lunch?" 7 kids raised their hands. Then she asked, "How many want Wednesdays to be homework free?" 7 different hands went up. "Gracious," said Miss Edwards, "it is 7-7. We need a recount." They voted again. Again, it was 7-7. "We have a tie," said Miss Edwards. "What kind of tie?" asked Amelia Bedelia. "The election is tied," said Miss Edwards. Each idea got the same number of votes. "What do we do now?" asked Teddy. "The same thing we do every day," said Miss Edwards. "It's time for recess. Then we'll have a runoff to determine the winner." That sounded like fun, especially to Amelia Bedelia. Everyone raced to the playground. "When we go back inside," said Clay to Amelia Bedelia, "I'll beat you in the runoff for sure." "There's no running in school," said Amelia Bedelia. "Let's run off right now. I'll race you around the building." "On your marks," said Angel. "Get set," said Cliff. "Go," hollered Rose. Clay and Amelia Bedelia took off. "Go, Clay!" shouted Joy. "Hug the corners, Amelia Bedelia!" yelled Skip. Amelia Bedelia was way ahead at the first turn, but then she stopped to hug the corner. Clay whooped as he passed her. Amelia Bedelia ran even harder. She passed Clay in a burst of speed, but hugging every corner slowed her down. They were running neck and neck at the finish line. Just then, Miss Edwards walked outside. "It's time for our runoff, squirrels and ladybugs. Kablam!" "Amelia Bedelia," said Nurse Sims, "you brought me 2 new patients." "I didn't know a runoff could be so rough," said Amelia Bedelia. Mr. K shook his head. "That runoff was more like a run over," he said. "This is turning into the school of hard knocks." "Knock, knock," said a woman at the door. "I'm Dawn's mother. She was sick today, and I came to get her homework and to give you this." Miss Edwards opened the note from Dawn and read it aloud. "Dear Miss Edwards, I'm sorry I missed the election. I'm feeling better. I vote for Homework-Free Wednesdays. Bye for now, Dawn." "Wow," said Miss Edwards. "I need to show Dawn's note to the class. This is what we call an absentee ballot. It lets your vote count, even if you can't be there." "Hey," said Clay, "that means there isn't a tie after all." "That's right," said Miss Edwards. Dawn cast the swing vote. Amelia Bedelia felt like swinging from the ceiling. "Hooray," she yelled. "Homework-Free Wednesdays wins." Congratulations, Amelia Bedelia, said Mr. K. Do you have anything to add? I will when we do arithmetic, said Amelia Bedelia, but right now I really do like your new tie. Thank you, Amelia Bedelia, said Mr. K. It's great to have your vote.